there, welcome to this. I'm going to try and make it really short, actually, as short as I can, to this little presentation on the teachers team, and it's about a little book I created called Make Your Own Comic Book. So I'm going to go into a little bit of the background, share some ideas that I really hope you find useful, and I'm going to get going. Okay, so look, every cloud has a silver lining, and that's the old proverb. But I'm going to ask you a slightly different question. What does 2020 feel in this period of time? At the time of recording this, I'm in 2022. So does it feel as if we've been snapped? That's what I used to feel. Or are we going to view this as a restart? So let me give you my perspective on it. And this is one of the ideas I came across, or an update of an older idea. So in 1999, I was working in the internet industry, and they said that did something on attention. The human beings have an attention span of 15 seconds. And that's really bad news because goldfish have an attention span of 8 seconds. That's not very much more than a goldfish. Found that idea a little bit shocking at that point. And guess what? If you think that is shocking, it's even worse. Apparently, there was a recent study. They're talking about goldfish having attention span of 7 seconds. Sorry, human beings having an attention span of 7 seconds. You can tell this idea is so shocking. It's less than a goldfish, and goldfish spend all day swimming around a goldfish bowl. That's how they manage it. They forget when they get to the beginning. So look, horrible idea. You think that can't be true, and they're all blaming it on social media, Facebook, and all this clicking that everybody engages in. Look, I'm as bad at it as bad at it as everybody else. The idea I really wanted to share with you was this magic triangle, and I came across it pre-lockdown, but during the lockdown, I did some professional training that really enforced it. So this is the idea I want to share with you, and I'll give you a brief over it just a little bit later on. Look, some of the things that I might say might sound a little bit harsh, but I'm just trying to be fair, and there's no malice behind them. So please bear that in mind. For me, I remember 2019, and I thought it's going to be a great year next year. It's going to be our year. We're going to make it happen. 2020 has that number in it, connotation, 2020 vision. I booked a flight out, and I flew out to Phuket. The beach actually looked like that. This isn't my photograph, but it actually looked like that. Clear blue water, amazing weather for cold January in Blighty. We had sort of like 30 degrees. Wow. And crystal clear waters, golden sand. I mean, it feels better than it looks in the photo, is all I can say. And I'm not trying to make you jealous, and that's when, we didn't realize what was about to come. And my term is the 2020 snap. And that, that's the only way to look at it. And for every great story, you need a great villain. And we had one of the greatest villains in history called the coronavirus. Unfortunately, we're all familiar with it. So at that point, what took place was, you can't even make it up out of a science fiction, the lockdown. And, even thinking and talking about it now, we can't believe it actually happened. You have to sort of pinch yourself. And I know this is a bit rude, but this is a meme that was actually going around, and it literally summed up what was going on. Everything was closed down. There's no work. You're getting bored. You couldn't even go to the park. You were limited to exercise, and in everybody's mind, you're worried about financial issues. How are we going to deal with everything that comes out of it? And one of my friends sent this meme, and it's because there's literally a broadcast news every hour about some new thing that they're doing, or something you can't do, or how they're reacting to it. And it did cause overwhelm, to tell you the truth. And at that point, one of my friends called me up, and I give him the nickname the Maharaj. And so calls me up and he goes, "Dill, what are you doing?" And this is a really nice chap. I've met him all the networking events that I attended for work. And you know, when you get to know people really well, more than just on a professional level, you start to share stuff that you normally wouldn't share with professional colleagues. So I said to the Maharaja, "Listen, I'm topping up my vitamin D. I got no work. I can't do the stuff we're supposed to be doing. I can't watch any more news because I can't handle all the stuff that they keep talking about. So I'm topping up my vitamin D." And we had a bit of a laugh at that. We still have a laugh at that comment now, actually. So he said, "Listen, Dill, a lot of the networking guys have gone on Zoom. So why don't you jump on Zoom? I'll send you a couple of links to the events they're doing, and we could get going." And at that point, I'd heard about it in a vague way, so because I used to work in the tech industry, but I'd never used it. And, you know, I don't think most people had used Zoom at that point. So it became Zoom time. So I did a lot of networking. I found trainings that were related in other aspects of what I do professionally. And I even created a few training courses myself. So basically I was like a kid in a sweet shop. I'd overdone it. Really went wild on it. Looking at it now, yeah, I think we all over Zoom basically. And I was even doing socials. It was, you know, I had a Zoom time that I've still got the remnants of it now. So got on with it. And then last year, just before 21, this new variant sort of started to come out. And even before then, I thought, yeah, lockdowns were on, lockdowns were off, don't go on, you know, relaxing rules, hardly. But for me, I'd already made up my mind. I thought, look, you know, the NHS are great. They help us out. We've got really a lot of respect for what they did. And even before this, I've always had a lot of respect. And I thought, listen, the only way I can help them is to stay out of their way, make sure I don't get sick. So I'd already decided I was going to stay home, even when people were saying, "Listen, there's no lockdown," you know, sort of June last year, August, September time, people were saying, "Oh, we can meet up." I said, "Listen, I'm not doing any of that. Staying out the way." And I was already preparing for Christmas 21, and it was going to be exactly like my Christmas 2020. You know, part of Christmas past was going to be exactly like Christmas present 2021 for me. I was going to stay in and, you know, just say, write it off. But while I was watching YouTube, I came across this idea, and I decided to do a little project for Christmas 2021. I thought, have a bit of fun. I just came across this interesting project, and I thought I'd never go at it. So I decided to create myself a little comic. It's more like a comic workbook. It wasn't supposed to be writing an actual book. Not interested in that, but I thought I could do something like that. So this was what came out of it. But initially, when I got working on it, it's probably it turned out to be a 4 or 6 week project. It was supposed to be something quite quick. I just got carried away with it, to tell you the truth. And what I'd done, the way I got carried away was I sort of started to apply some of the aspects of the training and the magic triangle. And the more and more applied of each idea, the more ideas I got. So I just got a little bit more than carried away, is the way I put it. So anyway, I thought I'd better launch this and get it out of my system. Otherwise, I'm going to be working on it while I'm supposed to be working. So during Christmas, I think it came out on the 1st of 2022 or end of New Year. I can't, one of those, either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I said, yeah, get it out, launch it. So anyway, I launched it and I shared it with a few friends, and that's when I started to get a few calls from. What happened is some of my friends had shared it with teachers they knew and other people, and I started to get a few calls from teachers. And I thought, I didn't expect that. I know I got a bit carried away, but there was some interesting feedback from teachers. They liked the way it was written, what it was about, and this wasn't my intention. So, accidental discovery. And then I thought, perhaps I could do something more with this. So this is where this idea came from, teachers team. And let me tell you about this magic triangle that I discovered. So I came across this concept. Here's my training background, and I did some work for an educational internet startup, 1990, 1999, a bit of a mouthful. I'd gone away from that industry, and I'm in the surveying industry, and you know, I have done some training in it, but it was training professionals in that arena. And one of the things I did pre-lockdown 2018 was volunteer and help with training professional surveyors on boundary disputes. Horrible things, don't get involved. Don't like talking about them, but unfortunately, it's the reality of what we face. So I volunteered, and I thought I'd like to give back to some of my mentors, and a couple of them trained me, and they said, this is a training process. We've got notes, we've got slides. You turn up to a couple of our classes, you take notes, and then you become a secondary trainer before you become a lead trainer. So great, we'll have a go at that. Interesting, although it's a horrible subject, it's quite interesting. So got going, learned the material, ready for my first training. And I'm the secondary trainer, so I'm the supporting trainer there. And I'm feeling, yeah, got it. I can do this. I can show up as a secondary trainer. And my mentor said, don't worry, I'll be the lead trainer. You're just gonna fill in, and you know, it's to keep the engagement going. And on the day, I got there nice and early. I'd been to a couple of trainings before, in the same room, same setup, set out all the materials, got the slides, you know, got everything ready for him. And looking at the watch, and I'm thinking, yeah, we're ready. I was ready about 5 minutes to 9, and suddenly we had some candidates starting to come in, welcomed them, sat them down, registered them, you know, all the stuff that you do, tea, coffee machine, toilets, and all of this sort of stuff. We had about 22 surveyors there, and I'm looking at my watch, and it's 9:20, and we're supposed to start at 9:30. And one of the guys asked, "Is you know the lead trainer coming?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sure he is. You know, yeah." And he said, "What if he doesn't turn up?" I thought, "Okay, interesting. What are we going to do? Can't really cancel it." I said, "Okay, well look, he's not here by 10 o'clock. We'll just start." I'm thinking, all right, not what you expected to be doing on your first day of training. Anyway, let's go for it. I know the material. I think I can do what he can do. You know, maybe he's fallen sick. I couldn't get him on the phone or anything. So I said, look, whatever happens, we're going to run it and then find out what goes on afterwards. So come 10 o'clock, no lead trainer. I'm there saying, all right, I know the material, got the slides, got everything going. All the people are here. Let's get on with it. So I start the course. I'm rattling through the slides, and you know, I think I'm doing quite well. I'm feeling quite smug, you know, getting through the material. I'm being asked questions. I know the answers. I've learned the material. I'm saying, okay, yeah, this is the answer to this. This is what we talked about earlier, or we're going to cover that later. I knew the material really well. I practiced. I'm getting through it, and I'm going, yeah, I'm doing well. So at 11:30, my mentor walks in and goes, I'm so sorry, I had some car problem. I couldn't reach the phone. I was stuck here. But so at that point, we said, okay, why don't we have a tea break? We'll have a catch up. Lunch was at 1, and it's a good point to have a pause. So he says to me, Dill, how you doing? I said, yes, great. I'm really doing this really well. I said, okay, how far are you? And then at that point, I should have been about 40 to 45% through. I'd got through 60% of the material. So I'm feeling a little bit smug with myself and saying, yeah, magic, I'm getting through it. No difficult questions. And he said, Gil, you're doing this wrong. I said, what do you mean? Covered all the materials. I haven't got any questions I haven't answered. And I've gone through it faster than you. And he said, that's the whole problem. You've gone through it too fast. And this is where he taught me something that I found really interesting as I went through my training and professional journey. And he shared what I call the magic triangle. And looking back at all the trainings I've done in the last 2 years, a lot of these were sort of, although they were quite expensive, I wouldn't have been able to do them for time basis and fee-wise in real life. So all these Zoom trainings, I found this training idea in a lot of these Zoom trainings. And I try and incorporate it as much as I can when I do trainings. So I'm going to share this magic triangle idea with you. So what my mentor explained is where the best way to impart educational content, not to give them the content, is to make it entertaining. When you make your presentations entertaining, you increase the audience's engagement and you make the education stick. And at that point, the session from 11:30 to afternoon, I realized why his trainings were so good. Because he wasn't delivering the materials. And it's sort of, what this does is, this idea might make you think as an educator, you're devaluing what you do. And this is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to communicate the concept that you've got good educators and you've got really great educators. And the difference is, it's how engaged your audience become, your students. And the way to capture their engagement is to give them entertaining stories and metaphors and case studies that, role playing. And he said, that concept really struck home, and all the trainings that I've been on since and before have taken on a different meaning. So, this is where I get this concept of the magic triangle. It's like, you could bring these three things together, the educational impact that you have on your students is greater. So we all remember the funny stories, the anecdotes that we've come across in trainings we've been on. And the reason is because they've created entertainment, they've got our engagement, and that's where the education sticks. And my mentor said something else. He said, look, we train professionals, they can read all of that stuff on the internet, they can get it from a book. That's not what they're here to do. When you're doing in-life training, they're here to make that content stick, that education stick. And this is one of the reasons I think children have missed their in-classroom learning. That's why it's not about the content. It's about when they see their friends, they have the entertainment, the engagement that sinks in that education. So that's the idea of the magic triangle. And then I thought, who else has to fight for attention in order to communicate the education? And it's obvious, isn't it? It's teachers. So, and I was on a social Zoom and we talked about teachers when we remembered as we were children that we went when we went to school. And there's a fantastic feeling of thank you for the teachers. Look, I had teachers who tried hard. I know not all of them succeeded in everything. And I still see the gaps in my education. But it's not their fault, it's because of my laxes in myself. But we're still thankful for those teachers. And I remember my headmaster saying in secondary school, these will be the greatest days of your life. You might not think it now. And you know, thinking back, I can see what he meant. So look, basic idea behind the teachers team is this. I've accidentally created this make your own comic book that's a useful teaching aid. So I'm going to create some teaching content for you guys. Hopefully you'll share it with other teachers. Give me your honest, review it, take some time to review it, and feedback. And I'm going to refine it and try and make it better and give you more content. And that's it. It's a way of me being able to pay a thank you to some of my teachers forward and hopefully give you a hand. And, I've got some ideas, and hopefully when they've come to fruition, I'll be able to share them. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to get them in the description. Click the links below. I'll find other ways of sharing the content. And if you can share it, review it, give me your feedback and take part in this, I'm going to try and make as many resources to make your job easier, just as a thank you to my teachers. So I hope you find this useful. You see the idea I'm trying to share behind it. And let me have your honest feedback. I'm going to put, it's all right, you can be harsh with me, I don't mind. And I don't teach children from 7 to 12 English, but if that's what you do, please use the resources that I'm going to create for you as they come out. Give me your feedback, share it if you find it useful. And I'm just going to end on say thank you for all the teachers I've had in the past. Thank you for you taking the time to watch this little presentation. And please share with colleagues that you might find useful. And also give me your feedback. Thank you for your time. And most of all, thank you for your attention.